Nigerian American because I am 100% Nigerian. My parents were both born in Nigeria, but I call myself American because I was born and raised in America, so I can't let go of that either. So yeah, I'm Nigerian American.
I am a black male, African American from a more direct African descent from Sierra Leone.
I identify myself as Haitian.
And how and why? Or
I
why?
I identify myself as Haitian because I honestly don't think being Haitian and being American is the same thing, or even Haitian American per se, because I feel like I have more of my culture than a lot of people who call themselves Haitian American. Like, I speak it fluently, I eat the food, things like that. My parents aren't really Americanized.
I'm black. I'm black because I have African history, African ancestry, and I was born and raised in America.
I would identify, I actually have a dual identity, part Caribbean, part American.
First of all, I identify myself as a black male in America with some Native American ancestry.
I'm first Congolese, then secondly African.
Okay.
That's why when someone asked me, are you African? I said, no, I'm Congolese first, then African.
I think blackness is, it goes beyond the skin color. Definitely hair is a good marker of blackness because got that curly, kinky, curly. You definitely recognize it, especially for me when I, like, as a natural girl, see another girl with natural hair, I'm like, oh my gosh, we can relate. I don't want to say there's a culture because there's so many different cultures when it comes to blackness, but there's just something about, like, there's some sort of unity when you see another black person, like, oh, maybe we'll have a similar story, which is completely wrong, but, you know.
In the most basic sense, it's basically skin tone and how people view you in a darker pigment, but it's also state of mind where it's race, and that's a form of faction.
I think the main outward basis of what constitutes blackness is culture, identifying yourself as being black, identifying with the struggles that come from being black.
Maybe it's my social class, but I think race is socially constructed. I think if you are just, but I do also believe in hypodescent. Like, I do think if you have like one drop of black, you're black. But like, you can associate yourself as a thing too. Like, you could be black and white or whatever. But if you're black, you're just black. Like, if you're Haitian, you're black. Well, then, I guess if you're white and you're born in Haiti, you can be white. But like,
blackness to me, the way I see it, everyone is black. Even, it's been proven that Queen Elizabeth has African ancestry, and by the one-drop rule of the Old South, that means she's black. It's been scientifically proven that people have come from Africa in general, the African diaspora, and it's essential to me to understand and teach that we have descended from the same place and branched off into different cultures.
I don't believe black people are related by, that can be a sect of it, but I feel like there's other ways because blackness in another country is not always rooted in slavery.
Of course we're related by history, with ancestry and, the African ancestry lineage. I think, of course, but as far as social structures set in place, I think we're related through that too. And what I mean is how we kind of face this overwhelming abundance of incarceration, poverty. I think we all bear that same burden when it comes to certain political structures that are set in place that prevent us from progressing as far as we probably could.
They should be related to the experiences and how they come together in times of hardship, but most of the time, especially modern black people, they use the idea of their history of how they've been mistreated as their connection, even though a lot of their roots don't even stem from the true people, true African Americans that actually went through the struggle. But I guess they use it as a cop-out to connect everybody just because they have the black skin or black tone. So, yeah, they use history readily to connect each other when it shouldn't be like that.
I think that they're related by other means because I think with African Americans anyway, like as a Haitian, I know so much about like Haitian history, but I feel like a lot of African Americans probably don't even know when slavery was abolished, which is sad. So I feel like they're more related.
I wouldn't really say there is any commonality between African and diaspora Africans, but there is a commonality between African from a specific country to African diaspora of a specific country.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm saying this is because in Africa we don't relate to each other when someone is from Zambia or from Congo or from Senegal. We don't have any commonality. We don't even know we have any cultural, similarity anyway. We only discover that commonalities when we're here because we try to relate to each other as being African.
I try not to do that because I feel like that's so racist. Like,
Yeah.
I'm black, so I'm just gonna help black people first. No, like I remember I asked my friend, I'm like, if a white boy and a black boy was on the street and they were hungry, who would you help first? That my friend said a black boy. I said no, I would break it up and share both of them. Like I don't want to be, because you're black, I must help you first. I just want to help whoever's in need.
Maybe, like I said, because I'm Caribbean, maybe it's because of that. But there are underlining things where I do feel inclined more to help someone that looks like me. Yes.
For example?
Like, the Haiti example. It depends how big or serious it is. You know what I mean?
I don't feel obligated. I feel like if I was presented with the opportunity to, I probably would. But I don't feel like, I don't wake up and think, wow, there's so much going on in Africa that, I'm aware that there's a lot of hardships going on in Africa, but the hardships that are going on in America are so, prevalent and just so in my face. I think of course it's going to have most of my attention.
I do feel a connection to them just because, it's easier to help people you understand. Like, I might not understand the plight of somebody else in a different situation. I might help them anyway, but I feel more of a personal call to help people I feel like, I'm connected to. And so when I see people from the African diaspora struggling, I want to help them because basically it means uplifting the same type of people that, raised me, the same type of people that helped me, the same type of person that I am, and it's helping make progressive our goals as a culture, as a hereditary group.
I think that they do to an extent. I know as a Haitian, I kind of distance myself from African Americans because I don't think culturally we're, I think we share a lot of cultural similarities.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they share like the history of oppression, but I think that's
There's a historical
mostly
context
it.
always there. Whether even before I learned about slavery, I always knew there's some connection there. I think really the longing to kind of get back to your roots or have an opportunity to support your people back home. Africa's commonly referred to as the motherland, so definitely there's some type of
I
connection.
feel like they should, because everyone has the same problem. Everyone's trying to progress, succeed, make a name for themselves. But I mean, it's as simple as a divided house will always fall, and I think that's what we live in. Everyone is trying to make a way for themselves, and when they should be coming together and helping each other out in a way of checks and balances. So if there's a lack of connection, then they won't get what they want. They'll just be separate, struggling, when they can come together and be successful.
One thing is that all those who come here, black ethnic groups, they realize they're black when they get here. That's a solidarity, because I'm like in your own country, you don't realize you're black to that sense. I know my advisor, she talked about that was the biggest thing that she had to come to terms with, is when she came here, she was black, and the impact of that, because you don't realize that. So I guess that brings some sort of bond and unity, because you're like, oh, I'm black, like I didn't even know that.
Definitely. I think because when I look at black culture, it's coming from civil rights movement to where we are today. We went from being so quick to unite in a positive way that now we kind of like, it's tension, it's like automatic tension amongst us, and I wish I knew where it came from, but we really don't have the unity, we really don't have the camaraderie, and it's easier to divide us and basically turn us against each other. But had we come together and really put our minds together, I think it could be powerful.
I think it helps kind of bridge the gap, because, I am African American. I do appreciate, and I am happy about my African roots. But one of the problems is, and one of the problems has been, and one of the reasons that African American culture has grown up the way it has, is because I don't know much about Africa, and a lot of African Americans don't know that much about Africa. And so I feel like people from Africa can help us understand about more of where we came from. And it should be less about, hey, I'm actually African and you're just black. And it should be more about, hey, I'm African, let me, teach you something about where you came from and how we're similar. The experiences are different, but you can tell that there's still a connection, at least I can, between black people who grew up in America, for generations have been in America, and people who are kind of coming over from Africa in first and second and third generation.